All right guys, welcome to another episode of The Build. My name is Cody Groom. Today we have this 8 Series behind me. Now this thing, oh man, I don't know, like I got into BMWs because I loved how much they took to develop the final piece, like the whole package, right? So like when you look at this car, there's little things, like this has got red leather, but BMW did that OEM stock. On my E92 M3, I have Fox Red, and I love that they can take these cars and have something to where you have performance, you got sound, you got the looks, and tie it all together into this one complete package.
My name's Cody Groom. I spend my time showing you guys amazing cars and the stories behind them.
Damn!
It's about the people, places, and of course, cars. Welcome to The Build. The E31 8 Series debuted in 1989 and was meant to be BMW's flagship model.
With fully integrated bumpers, front and rear, emanate a flair of dynamic exclusivity.
The E31's front nose was based on the styling of the M1 combined with another concept car. The V12 that powered the 850 Ci was a 5.4-liter V12 known as the M73. The E31 8 Series ended in 1999 due to poor sales. A total of 30,621 cars were built, with only 1,510 of them being the 850 Ci.
The owner is from Minneapolis. He used to live in Escondido. 174,000 miles, 850 Ci. So I've been eyeing to build an 8 Series for a while. It's always been a dream for me, all those pop-up headlights and the actual shape of the car. I love it so much, kind of like similar to my 635, like kind of shark looking car, right?
With Mars Car, we have the world's first Pandem 8 Series wide body. Previous kits were sold, but never actually completed.
I've been seeing the Pandem kit for a while too. It was released a couple of years ago, but nobody really actually did it or completed the kit. So I kind of decided, I really wanted to build a car. So if you notice, we don't have any rubber molding on the actual kit, because we actually put fillers inside within the actual molding. So even if I remove my wrap, it's gonna look like it's molded, but obviously you still have the rivets. But
That is a huge thing though, because that is one of the first things. I'm not really a wide body guy, even though we've done a ton of videos on wide bodies, and I do enjoy seeing them in other cars. But that is one of the first things I usually notice on a wide body car, is that there's rubber sealing and right. It's kind of coming out a little bit and all that, and fitment is obviously huge.
Now, this is a 96. 96 was a different era for BMW. I mean, look at the size of those grills alone. The grills are an 1/8 of the size. BMW had this thing going on where it was like, they really thought about everything that went into the cars, versus nowadays, it feels like everything's so overly aggressive. So like, for example, we come over here and we go to the side profile. The side profile of this thing, I love it. It feels streamlined. I love the way the edges point. I like how the lights, the amount that they sit up. And to me, those are the things that make a car a total experience. We can talk all day numbers, performance, how fast it is, all the little things. But when you come to owning something, a lot of times for me, it's about the total package. And that's something that I've always loved about BMWs.
The interior of this build is simple, but something about it speaks out to me. Maybe it's the red leather that I've mentioned 3 or 4 times, or maybe it's the subtleties like the aftermarket AZA steering wheel, or the custom Z3 cup holder with an E46 part to help it go all together. But the best part of this interior, the 90s foam. The era before tech really boomed. Of course, none of these phones actually work anymore, but it's still a cool reminder of the era this was made in. Now, this model isn't automatic. I'll leave it up to you guys at this point, but I really feel like the icing on the cake would be a 5 or 6-speed manual instead. For the wheels, we have BC forged, but with the car being built in 90 days, there wasn't time to test offsets.
So the wheels was interesting. You know, obviously everybody's doing remote due to COVID. So what I did was I kind of borrowed the wheel from a friend that has a 0 offset. And we kind of did some measurement. You know, it took me about a couple hours. I coordinated with Kevin, my friend from Mod Bargains, and we did a lot of math into it. And you know, when it got the wheels after 4 weeks, you know, that was the first thing I test fitted on the. You know, I was really happy that it actually fit perfectly.
This car is not necessarily completely simple, right? Like you look at this, it's obviously wide bodied, bag, it's the delivery on it, but there is like a simple thing to this. And for some reason, like this is one of the cars that we saw at SEMA and it stood out to me. It was just like something that I was like, man, I don't know what it is about this car, but I enjoy it. Now, this is the only one that has been made from the Pandem kit. The only one. Every other one, there's been I think 4 or 5 kits sold, and they weren't actually made. So that's kind of, to me, big deal. It's cool. That's why I think this stood out too, is it's something I haven't seen, right? We've all seen wide body GTRs. We've seen wide body almost everything. But to see an 8 Series sitting there, it's pretty cool. Even looking at the inside of this, I don't know if this thing's unlocked. Let's see. There we go. Alright. Even looking at the inside of this, super clean. All the leather was redone, and this is the kind of thing like I would drive the hell out of this thing. I would enjoy this thing, and I think that's a big part of it too. Is like if you've modified cars, you know there's a point where you go from driving it and enjoying it to now it's too modified that you don't actually enjoy it because you're like, oh, I can't go here because it's too low. I can't do this because of this. This doesn't work because of this. We've all been there, and if you haven't, you'll be there at some point, I'm sure. He's got like a trunk setup. We'll show you guys some shots of, and I don't know. Tell me guys what you guys think of this one, because this one for me is one of those ones I really enjoy. Livery, he works with someone to design it. A big part of it was he wanted something like the M stripes, but didn't want to make it to where it was just straight up M stripes. And I think we see that a lot, especially nowadays. Is that like I see it all the time on M2s, right? We see the M stripes down the side, and it's cool to take these like M colors without being just strictly M stripes. Cool, definitely unique touch. I like how it goes into blue in the back. So as we get around the back, we have this like, obviously the blue goes, have the red come back in on the bottom, and it's just cool. It's a cool design, like how it goes in, and we also see like a fade, like there's almost a gradient of where it goes from blue to the more like turquoise color. Overall, not a lot to complain about. Got a V12 in this thing. Now, mechanically, like this thing is pretty stock. So, like engine-wise stock, I don't know what his future plans are for it, but right now it's a cruiser. We're gonna go get some shots in the canyons and just cruising with this thing. I mean, picture like driving on the beach in this thing. I would love to do that. So for this build, I think what's really cool is it's the first of its kind. Now, stock, it's quiet. You can hear it as we were doing those little pass-bys. Like it's a quiet car, and I think at this point in time, he has it kind of set up as a cruiser. It's a big part of it was being able to successfully do this Pandem kit on this car, being it had never been done before. So, I mean, I think the coolest part about this is gonna set the stage for a lot of 8 Series. I guarantee that we're gonna see, eventually, we're gonna see the 8 Series kind of come out and live its life the same way we see like the E36. And I don't know, like I mentioned to you guys earlier, something to me stood out about this car, the lines, the shape. I just think it is a cool project that gets me excited. That being said, buy your 90s car now, because we all know that these things are not gonna be cheap in 5 minutes. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for today's episode of The Build. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. If you got something to say, leave me a comment below, and I'll see you guys later.